Thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so excited to chat with you all things styling.
Yeah.
Alejandra Hernandez is one of the coolest stylists, and she works with a lot of very cool artists, including SZA, Kali Uchis, Kehlani, Tinashe, and then also some brands Born and Raised.
Yeah.
So very multi-hyphenate styling.
Thank you.
So
that's a great way to put it. Thank you.
Yes, make sure to stick around for the cool down because we've got a special little something from OK Coleman. So yeah, let's get into it. I think that a lot of people don't have any sort of idea what stylists actually do, and it's a lot more than making people look cute.
That's very true. Very true.
I always think like, gosh, I don't know how stylists do it because each client, you have to plan out so many outfits for them whenever you're on a contract or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot goes into that, like sifting through a ton of designs from all sorts of different locations. And then once you make decisions, you got to keep track of the designs, and there's just a lot that goes into it. And and I don't think the door is really open to behind the scenes, like what actually goes on. And one thing in particular I've been very curious about as a designer is, how much does fabric play into the job of a stylist? Like when they're looking for, music videos where there's a lot of movement versus maybe not so much movement. Do they think a lot about textiles? And if so, like,
what do we think about?
Yeah, what are you thinking about?
I mean, I think fabric is so key for like something making or breaking a look, whether it's just the way it looks or the way it moves. I work with musicians, so, and a lot of times I'm doing tours, I'm doing festivals, I'm doing things that need to function, that need to move. So fabric is really key. But it also has to look amazing. Like, cheap fabric looks cheap. And, but that goes more into play when you do like a carpet, or like fabric that wrinkles, like, just things like that.
Yeah.
But yes, fabric is really a big, decision maker for sure.
Yeah. When you're dressing your clients for a performance where they'll be dancing or moving a lot, is movement something you actively think about when sourcing apparel? And then, like, what are some of the first things that you look for?
Definitely. But it's also not just like fabric. Fabric doesn't always dictate the movement. It's actually construction.
Okay.
Like an armhole, a crotch, like it needs to be constructed a certain way for it so that I know it's going to like function properly.
Okay. And can you tell like by looking at a garment? Because, you're hitting up all these.
Yeah, absolutely. For the most
like
part.
A photo.
The only thing that's kind of tricky is armholes. Like you really cannot tell by a photo.
Yeah.
Or even like when something is hanging on a hanger, you never know how like effed up the armhole's going to be until you try it on. So I kind of hate things with sleeves that are form-fitting for stage. It's always so tricky. Like everyone, that's a tricky part of the body for sure.
That's
and same with cups. Like a lot of times like bralettes, like you think it's gonna stay, but it doesn't. Or even like, some of my clients love to wear bikinis underneath something because it just holds properly. So, so those are things that fabric, like, a bralette in a certain type of fabric is gonna like curve but I think I can tell by looking at it, but I won't know until we try it on. But definitely armholes or really tricky to tell from just looking at something. It has to be tried on.
That is the first time I've heard that. I mean, I typically hear a lot more about bottoms.
Well, bottoms too, but bottoms, like, as trends have like changed, low rise is so popular now. And so, oh my gosh, that's like the Knicks definitely won because I can hear LA is going crazy right now. That's really cool.
Yeah, but that is fun because it's not an LA.
It's not an LA team, but I think they're just the underdog, right? Yeah. So it's like we wanted them to win. If it's tight, I know for sure it's not going to like work on stage. If it's like a tight, low rise pair of jeans, like the chances of, a butt not like
staying in
there. Yeah. In fact, actually, for the iHeart Awards, Kehlani wanted to wear a tiny little bell bottom that was like really low rise. And in our fitting, it stayed up. Dress rehearsal, the whole top half of her butt shelf was showing, and we had to like add like a part up at the top, and we had to add a thong and then tack the thong.
Oh my goodness.
And this was like stretchy fabric that moves with the body, but yeah, that is one thing. Fittings, like it might work in a fitting, but once they start moving and performing, it just goes in a different direction, and you have to be prepared to like come up with like quick on the spot, if you're performing within the next couple hours, and you don't have another option, and your client wants to wear that, like you have to come up with solutions.
What is kind of like the most creative solution or wacky solution you've had to come up with when something like that has happened?
Okay, recently this was like so on the spot. The costume was 2 pieces, and it wasn't like snatching as 2 pieces. So I basically created a 3rd piece within like an hour. So I made like an under bust corset because the idea was, can we just sew the top and the bottom together and make it a romper? And I'm like, sometimes clients request things that theoretically makes sense to them, but it's just construction wise, it's not possible, or it's possible, but it's not going to fit like right. So I was like, okay, so basically your goal is that you want this 2-piece to become a 1-piece. And I thought about it. I was like inserting fabric. This is just going to take 6 hours. And I was like, I saw this 3rd under corset thing. I looked at my tailor and I was like, how crazy is this? But can we like slice this and cover it in fabric and just give her a 3rd piece? And we did. And so that was a pretty like quick solution that everybody was like, oh my God, you just like solved it. Yeah, saved the day, because we had like an hour and a half until she went on stage. That was probably most recently one of my like fastest solutions that I've thought of.
And did you go to fashion school?
My background is in fashion design.
Okay.
So that's how I started working in the fashion industry. I got a degree from FITM. My goal was to go to FIT in New York, and I was going to, but September 11th happened, and I just wasn't going to move to New York at 18 by myself post 9/11. And so I stayed, and I did like 1 semester at SMC, and then someone had said, well, what about FITM? Would you go to FITM? So I went to FITM. I finished quick. I was like, I'm going to finish and I want to work.
Yeah.
And actually my very first, internship was at Apple Bottom Jeans.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you are familiar.
But I know from the rap songs.
But my teacher was a designer at Apple Bottom Jeans, and she offered me an internship.
That's cool.
Right out of school. So, and then I also had an internship at Rock and Republic Jeans.
So a lot of denim background.
Here. And that's how I started. And then I worked for a small clothing company in the early 2000s. And I was like the women's designer, and I learned so much there. And then I started styling, because I met stylists at that clothing company, and they were like, oh, would you want to work on set? And then I was like, yeah, like that's this is cool.
Yeah.
And so I did styling, but I stayed designing for like 5 years, and then I did a bunch of other things, and I always like came back to design.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of stylists at your level have to have some sort of design background or just like inclination, I guess.
Yeah, or like sometimes they don't, but they learn. They've done it so long where you really learn by working with designers, and you're coming up with customs with them, you know. A lot of times these customs are the stylist's ideas. I know for me they are a lot of the times, you know. So you learn a lot, you know.
Yeah, I see that process, and then I just as a designer that gets hit up to every so often to do customs, and then I realize like how much custom work they're actually doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's insane that they have all these ideas all the time. And they're executing it so quickly. It's very impressive.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could be a stylist, but kudos to...
It's hard. It's so much more, like you were saying, it's like so much more than just putting a look together.
Yeah.
There's also the literal work that you know, like logistics and all that. There's also like the whole business side of it, the financials. It's hard. It's
or even like the image creation for the client. Like how much of that is the client's vision versus yours, you know, like, because I feel like stylists typically are developing style, like aesthetics for...
I think it depends on the artist, you know. Some artists have a very specific brand, and you go into the job like knowing a lot about them because there's a creative team, they have a mood board, they have opinions. And then there are some artists that are so creative in other ways, and that's not really the way they're creative, and they don't really they have good taste, but they're not like they're not so specific about what you're putting on them. So that's when, you know, a stylist can lead more, but I like it being collaborative. Because I just think it's like a way to show mutual respect, you know, like I respect you and I respect your taste and what makes you comfortable, and I respect your vision, and I hope that you also respect mine. So that's why I love collaboration.
Okay. That's, I actually enjoy that as well too. I get a lot of inspiration when I get hit up for custom requests. It's like, oh wow, I would have never thought to make anything like that before, but now you've given me so much to think about.
It's also probably cool when you get hit up for something, right? Because it's like you have a very specific brand, right? And you use your textiles in such an innovative way. So if a stylist is contacting you for custom work, it's because they have like a new way for them, you know, a new way for you to use your own aesthetic, you know? And so, we did a one custom together.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was a custom dye.
It was a custom dye of a piece that SZA loved, this halter.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we made one in burgundy. Or it wasn't burgundy, I'm sorry. It was like during Super Bowl. So it was like the red and the sleeves. The sleeves. Yeah. You've never made anything other than... You haven't done... Well, you did the tie-dye stuff for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to get into colors, but I know when I've released like black denim, when I've released other colors, it ends up driving more demand for the indigo.
Yeah.
So then I'm just like, maybe I need to just
focus on the indigo. Yeah. Or just denim looking. Yeah.
But then I see other brands doing something similar, like a similar effect, but in different colors. And then that, I see it sells well for them. And so like, well, maybe I should have done that, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much to do just with the indigo yarn that I'm hoping that in the long run, it'll pay off that I was so focused rather
Yeah.
than trying to do too much. I just feel like the market is so saturated. Why do something that other people are doing or can do? Like, I don't know. But, you know, being in the gym, the idea is to look however you want. Or I guess when I'm working out or I'm doing active things, I want to look good or look not like I'm wearing workout clothes for the most part. So I did used to dream of, like, you know, platform shoes or high heels for skating or something.
Yeah.
Something silly like
Remember
that.
in Romy and Michelle's high school reunion? Have you seen that movie?
No.
Where they're on the treadmill and they're like in these big platforms. You need to watch it just for that, because that's
so
exactly what that reminded me of.
Yeah. I'm like, I know it's not practical because, like, you twist your ankle or whatever, but, you know, I do have some platforms that are like tennis shoes, and that I can do a lot in those, so it's not totally unrealistic.
Go,
but,
Eleanore.
Yeah. So, what brands are there? Certain brands that you gravitate towards if you know that there's going to be a lot of movement, whether it's the construction or the fabric that they're good at?
Not real. I mean, for personal use, you mean like for like when I work out, or for like
For styling?
For styling, no, there's not. I do rely heavy on custom because I know what my clients want to look like on stage, and I know what parts of their bodies they want to like accentuate. And, you know, there's also like different creative for the stage and for the acts in the show. And so I do rely on custom. And there were times in my career when I was working with like more developing artists where they didn't really have budgets for customs, and depending on the artist, you know, there were certain things that we would always like, but again, they didn't have budget. So it was like, I was like, oh, I'd hit up Adidas, and Adidas would give me free shit. And then it's like, you just work with what you could get. Yeah. You know? Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of how the fashion industry works, but
yeah. And then that's also like, you know, I'm a really big believer in like high and low, you know? I've been doing like content, like going to Ross, because people think like, oh, you know, I mean, it's a bigger conversation, you know, with like fast fashion and discount fashion and like how horrible it is for the environment, whatever. But, you know, I recycle, I buy a lot of used stuff. There's other things I do to kind of like balance the fact that I do go to Ross and spend $150 on clothes. That's probably not good for the environment. But anyways, I think
we were not talking about the environment today. No.
Yeah. Please. The Knicks just won. Yeah. It's like, just good news, all good vibes only. Yeah. But I think that work at that stage of my career, like I was so relying on, you know, like going to Santee Alley and like buying little the 3 for $10 spandex shorts because I didn't have a budget to dress dancers, and I know that they needed something that was like a sure thing. Yeah. That wasn't going to be problematic, that was like easier to wash, that was going to go back to the original size, you know. I think like when I worked with Iggy Azalea, she opened for Beyonce on the Mrs. Carter tour, and she just had it in the budget for her 2 dancers to have 1 costume for like whatever it was, 20 shows or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't have an assistant, I didn't have anybody there, and I would have to like wash everything in my hotel room and like hang dry it. So, you have, in those cases, you have to be able to use fabric that goes back. Yeah. Yeah. After.
It gives you more options, or, more flexible. Or forgiving on different body types.
That too. Yeah, for sure.
Are there any fabrics you avoid?
I think always. Like, there's always fabric I don't like. But I don't like corduroy. Like, for stage, I mean, but it's also like, when does anybody ever want to wear corduroy? You know, like, I like corduroy.
Why don't you like it?
Because it's just heavy. Oh, okay. it's hot. It doesn't read well. Like, it just looks like kind of fuzzy and blurry from like, even now with like really great camera technology, and you go, well, depending on venues, right? Like, I'm talking like for a stadium tour, you can be sitting in the cheapest seat, and the freaking screens now, like, they're so good that you can really see the artist.
Can't have one wrinkle.
Yeah. But yeah, that too. You can have lint, like things that like collect lint. I don't like velvet necessarily. I don't like things that are heavily beaded either for stage. I think that they are a liability. Like, beads can fall, like, you know, break off and go on the stage, and even
slip and fall.
You can slip and fall. Yeah, it's like dangerous. But I do like crystals. I think crystals add to stage. But yeah, there isn't necessarily a fabric that, you know, if the creative calls for something, I'm gonna like be a good sport about it. And like I said, like, there's the construction of the garment is what's gonna make the garment like functional, not necessarily the fabric, you know.
That makes sense.
I mean, in the case, right, like if something requires like I want to move, I want like drama, I'm not going to use heavy denim for that. I'm going to use like something that's flowy. You know, like a chiffon or something. But yeah, for the most part, you're going to make it work. You're going to make it work with like the construction.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also makes sense. I have to do a lot of customization because I feel like a lot of clothing on the market today isn't constructed very well. So
no, it's terrible. Like, it is so terrible. I mean, I can't even tell you. Even like expensive clothes, you know. I mean, some brands I think have like impeccable construction, but then the construction might be impeccable, but the fit's not always right. Like, you know, it's not for everybody. And every body type. But like, I see corsets, you know, I use a lot of corsets on my girls, and like the lines are straight. I'm like, a corset's supposed to contour, you know? So like, it should have like a curve. So I see things like that. Armholes again are always like just terrible. Even like recently, there's like this really cool jacket I bought on Emerge. I forget the designer, but not like they weren't thinking about somebody wearing it on stage, but she wanted to DJ in this jacket, Tinashe, and it's so cute. It was like this gray crop jacket, and it was leather, and it was like, it had like a little like, what is that, like a motorcycle collar type collar, and it was gray with like yellow. It's so cute. It's still in my studio. And she was like, but see, when I raise my arms up, like the whole thing comes off. And it's like, as well as it, like, they constructed it as well as they could, right? As good as they could. But it wasn't meant, it's not meant for that. And that is like,
it's a fabric.
It's a fabric.
On that one.
On that, for sure. But also, like, you know, people are making clothes for like runway and street style. They're not making things necessarily for people to like wear on stage, you know, or wear while DJing. They're not thinking about like a dance move, you know?
For sure.
So,
well, I would like to get into some stylist tips and tricks because I feel like you have a lot of those up your sleeve, I'm sure, especially.
I hope I do.
Well, you do a lot of custom, or there's last minute outfit emergencies, and you know, maybe these are some things that we can all learn from. Like we were just saying, a lot of garments are not constructed very well on the market, so I'm sure a lot of people are having to do DIY alterations at home, or just not buy the garment in general. What's the most common alteration you have to make?
I mean, hems are all, you know, everybody, like inseams are just so long, especially on baggy, loose pants, like the ones you're wearing, right? So I think like a hem is like the most common. And then also like when girls are more hippie or have like bigger butts, the you know, you go with a bigger waist size, and then the top, and then the you know, so darting the back. That's like a very common alteration. Armholes, like reshaping an armhole, is very common.
Kind of question about the shape of the armholes that are not comfortable. What are you doing to it to make it fit better?
I mean, a lot of times we're just chopping it off completely, and then like doing a little cap sleeve. Because it's just not movable. For stage, right? For regular life, it is what it is. You just like drop it down a little bit. But those are common alterations. A lot of times, also, like somebody wants to wear a baggy jean, and you don't want to lose the scrunch on the bottom, you know, like the rolling. And I had a tailor who, one of my favorite tailors that I work with, Lewis, he had this like genius solution where we put like a little piece of elastic so that it basically like scrunched the pant.
Oh, cool.
But only on one side, so that it didn't look like crazy, like ruching on both sides. And so then it kept the rolling effect without making the pant like high watered or just straight. So I love that trick. And then I had another tailor, Juan. I had a pair of Acne jeans, you know, the really cool ones that have like the sublimation on them. And I loved the bagginess, and I loved the way it rolled. But I didn't want to do the elastic because they weren't that long. And so we just like pinned the roll the way I wanted, and then he just tacked it so that it was like, you know.
Interesting.
And that, because I hate when jeans are hemmed and the original hem isn't on.
Yeah.
I think I like hate that so much.
It doesn't have a natural look to it.
Yeah. I don't like that. But yeah.
As a designer, you know, sometimes I wonder why my garments like don't get placed on a client, and I know stylists are so busy. It's a hit or miss as to whether or not I'll get a response or feedback as to why that is. What's something that designers can do that would save stylists a lot of work, or like help, you know, their garments get placed on an artist?
I don't know if there is anything you can do. I mean, there are things that you can do. Like if something's custom, clearly, and it's not, you know, I'm always really clear when I do requests that it's not a guaranteed placement. Or if I'm holding it, it's like a contender, but we're choosing between 3 looks and I won't know, you know? And it really has nothing to do with the way it's just depending on the mood. You know? And especially with women, like there's different times of the month where you feel like more bloated, or you're just not in the mood, you're tired, and you just, you know, you thought you wanted to wear a tight dress, but guess what? Like, I just want to wear sweats. Or whatever, you know? So it's really like nothing you can do. It's kind of like, it's like one of those things that you can't really take personal. Because it's not. And then also creative changes all the time.
I've had that happen. And I'm like, no.
So us stylists too, like, not that it's the same, but kind of the same, like, you know, we prep and based on a creative. And then a day before it changes, and it changes into a completely different direction. And I'm like, well, I just did all this work, and now I have to do additional work, and it's going to cost more money because I have to do this in 24 hours. I have to hire more assistants to now source that while these other assistants are whatever, like, and now I've like included that in my service agreement that requires like an additional fee. It has to be treated like a different job because that's just a whole other workload. But yeah, stuff like that happens like so often. You know?
It's happened to me a few times, and
And
yeah.
but I do love when designers ask me like feedback or ask me for feedback, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm like, yeah, she just changed her mind, or they changed the color, or she loved it, but But I think I just had this conversation with my assistant. Like sometimes, like stylists are greedy. That it's like, she really liked this. We have it in a fitting, and we just hold it for so long. And
I've had that happen too.
I usually don't do that, but I have been doing that as of late, because I have so many girls right now on rotation that it's like, well, I'm going to keep something. If it doesn't work for this thing, it might work for this other thing that's coming up in 2 weeks. And because she liked it, so I just I want to hold it, because it's like, it'll make my life easier. And my assistant I asked him for feedback. I'm like, well, what can we do just to keep the flow of the studio better, and I'm not making showrooms or designers mad that I've been holding this thing out. And he's like, well, let's just maybe be less greedy and just return things. If it's been a week, 2 weeks, and they haven't worn it and it hasn't come up the opportunity for them to wear it, they'll just return it. So that happens too, where I think it's going to get placed because she really liked it, but the opportunity just went away, and it might come back. And so those are times where it's really, we can't do anything. It's out of your control,
Yeah, I've had a lot of experience now, so I understand what all the different scenarios are. And I don't really take it personally anymore. I don't know, maybe I used to, but now I know there's so many options.
You should do, and brands and showrooms should do more often, is say no. Say no to these requests, because one time this showroom said no to me. They're like, you know what? You've pulled from us 100 times. We haven't got, it wasn't 100 times, but it was you've pulled from us so many times. We've given you so much over and over, and I haven't gotten placement. So we're going to say no this time. And I was so offended in the moment, but I checked myself and I was like, you know what? She's right. Why should she be giving me samples when I've never given her placement?
That's actually a good way to, I've never, because right now is a little bit different just because I'm not really pushing my designs in general. So I've kind of been not wanting to loan out so much. I'll still do it here and there, but there are certain stylists where I try to I don't know how to respond, because they have loaned from me a lot, and each time it will be a grip of designs, and then it doesn't get placed, and I'm like, I don't know if they're just trying to fill their racks and they know that I'll just easily give them designs.
I think it is a little bit of both, It's well, they love your stuff. The reason why they're pulling from you is because they love your stuff. Either the stylist loves it or the client loves it, but it just hasn't gotten worn. But a lot of times it could also be that they're like, well, I need bottoms that I know are going to fit, and I know she's going to say yes. So you're right. But you should reserve the right to limit to 5 items or whatever. And if the stylist is cool, they'll understand.
Yeah. I'm going to have to, I like just saying it as it is, because I try to just avoid, I didn't know that I could say that.
Yes, you could. I always I tell brands and I tell designers all the time, okay, if you're doing this for me, this custom, I need you to put this and this and this in a contract because you should artists should tag once in a story or whatever. It's only fair,
Yeah, because there've been I love, obviously, stylists that place my stuff a lot, so I love loaning too. But it'll be there's one stylist that will, for one project represent this client, and then maybe a month later, a different stylist will represent that same client. I'll loan to both, and it'll be the other stylist that gets my stuff placed, and I'm like, this one stylist is always pulling my stuff but never places it, And it makes me think it can't be the client because another stylist will style it.
But it could be. Because
Maybe.
I have clients that work with other stylists, and we're all pulling from the same place.
Yeah.
We're all pulling from the same places. I think it's hilarious when I sometimes, like, I'll work with a girl and I'll see something I pulled at someone else will work with one of my girls, and I'll see something that was on my rack that my client did not look at when it was on my rack, and somehow it's now on her body. From
Interesting.
And so, and maybe that stylist like has a different process.
Yeah.
Maybe she or they pre-made the look in a different way than the other stylist.
Yeah.
And that client was like, okay, that's a cool way to wear KNORTS that I didn't see with so and so.
Yeah.
Maybe the one stylist is pulling way more stuff, and so that stuff she never sees it. They never see it.
Yeah.
So there could be a plethora of reasons, but I don't think that it's necessarily the stylist that's just like putting your stuff on a filler rack.
Okay. Good to know, because I'm like, I need to have that conversation with the stylist.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
She's placed it once a long time ago, so I've like, maybe this time, but it hasn't happened.
I said, feel free to say no or limit the amount. Like,
I've definitely said no or just like ignored. But I would like to, because she styles very cool people, and the fact that she does continue to pull for me is like, there's something there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to. I like that response.
Yeah.
That you gave. So.
Ask me anytime.
Maybe they'll
ask me anytime. I love to give designers like advice and be like, no, ask for this.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Cool. Let's see. Have you developed any special tricks? Like I said, we haven't already talked about for making clothes move better.
I don't know if I've developed them, but there are little tricks that I like sewing a short into a dress, like a little tiny, like, Capizio dress shorts, like sewing it inside, just makes it way easier and like a quick change.
Yeah.
Because that one thing is like something is, has to move, right? Like that's one part of stage clothing is like making clothing movable, functional. But if there's quick changes, making things fucking quick changeable is a whole other beast.
Yeah.
And I've learned like quick change little tricks for sure. Yeah. I've learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. That is necessary.
Yeah, but that one's like an easy one that I think everybody else. A lot of the stuff I have, I've done so many tours at this point that I've like found like my ideal tailoring team for tours, and I'm very collaborative with my tailors too, because I'm so interested in the way things are made and fit, and I'm like so particular about fit. Like I love clothes that fits well. And that doesn't mean that it has to be like contoured. Like a baggy jean, like so many times people do baggy jeans wrong and like they hem them wrong. We're talking about the scrunch of the jean. So I'm very particular about those types of alterations. And so I do have I work with this one tailor, Tatiana. She's just like a beast. Like she's a dressmaker. She's just the way her brain thinks is just like amazing. I have this other tailor that I've worked with for almost 18 years. Allison, she's now working with Chanel, and and these are tailors that I'm like, okay, I have this. I need this to be taken off in 30 seconds. And it needs to move a certain way, and how can we make it happen? And like between me, my assistants, whatever, we go to town on these like problems, and we come up with really cool tricks.
I mean,
I could tell you guys some, but they don't make sense unless I show, but like the shorts one is like, I think that's a no brainer. And I think like sometimes people don't even know that you can do that, but you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even just maybe something around the waist that, are there any like little tools that you use? Maybe the sewing machine is broken or,
tools. I always tell my tailors, like backstage tailors, like have a denim needle or a leather needle with like thick thread, like ready to go.
Yeah.
Just in case anything were to split, because you got to sew somebody in.
Yeah.
Because at that point, like you don't have time to run and put something on a machine. You have to like sew by hand.
Yeah.
So those types of tools are just seam rippers, like if something gets stuck, like a zipper gets stuck or something, like you need, or scissors, you got to cut somebody out. But yeah, like those are just, that really is all I can think of. That's like a mandatory, like quick fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, so, I mean, you've been styling for how many years?
So I went to FITM in 2002 and I finished at the end of 2003. A lot of people would take breaks. I just went the whole way. I wanted to work right away. So I finished in 2003. I started working at this clothing company in 2004 and I stayed there until about 2008. And in that time, in that era from 2003 to 2008, I started styling. I started assisting stylists. So I like to say that my styling career started when I started as an assistant.
Yeah.
Which was like 23 years ago.
Yeah. That definitely counts, especially for the question that I'm going to be asking.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen a lot of clothes over so many years.
Yeah, so many eras of fashion. Yeah.
I'm so curious, like, how has clothing changed? The construction of it, or even the fabrics. Like, are they more cheaply made?
I've noticed, besides things being like made, like denim. Like denim has gone through such a crazy, metamorphosis of like fits and sizing. But then I also think that our bodies have changed. You know, like I remember when I really started getting into vintage when I was younger, I would buy like size 9 shoes that were vintage, but I would wear like a size 7.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did shoes shrink or did our feet get bigger in like 20 years? I feel like that's happened to denim.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a client who's like a 22, I swear, she's like tiny, like a 22 waist. And when I am sourcing like vintage, low rise, early 2000s denim, I'm getting like a size 26.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like,
and today's 26 is
right.
Skinny girl.
Yeah. And so, but when she wears like a modern day 26, it's too big.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe our grading has changed. I don't know, but I do notice that even like when I wear vintage Levi's, like I wear a 29, like I'm like a 29, 28, like in stretch denim, right? When I wear Levi's, like vintage Levi's, I have to wear like a 32, a 33 to like fit, but of course there is absolutely zero stretch in a pair of vintage Levi's. But I think that is like the most obvious like change is just the way we grade. And just this like rise, like low rise, like a Frankie B. Are you familiar with Frankie B jeans? Do you remember Frankie?
I know the brand. I can't say that I've worn clothing.
So I totally wore Frankie B jeans, right? I graduated high school in 2001. So that was like the era of the Frankie B jean. And I just don't know how today a butt in 2026 could ever wear a Frankie B jean, like without your thong complete, like the top.
Yeah.
But I even like, I love Britney Spears and I like reference her style so much all the time. But when I see like her jeans on stage and I'm like, how? And I do see like the top of her, and she would put her mic pack on her. It was like, I'm like, how? How did it not?
She knows how to move her body.
She knew how to move her body to keep, to like, there was no like
clothing that affects the dance.
There were no
moves.
wardrobe malfunctions that I can remember, where like half of her butt was,
they glued it on.
Basically, because the way that was constructed in a 2026 setting, there's no way that would like survive.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Have you noticed anything like with, fabric or construction? Like, has that changed at all? Because I know when I go shopping, which is very rare these days because I make a lot of clothes. It seems like a lot of stuff on the market today it just keeps getting cheaper and cheaper. The fabrics the price point and the quality of the garment don't seem to be a good match. Is what I'm finding.
Because even expensive clothes is made like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that changed? Have you noticed a big change over the years with all the clothes that you've seen?
Yeah. I have. I have. I can't like. I know like. I love wearing shirts, like like button ups and I don't know if maybe like, okay, so I remember when H&M first came to California, because it came to New York first. And I remember like going and buying, and I'm talking fast fashion, right? I'm not even talking like designer stuff, but even just fast fashion. So maybe when I bought a button up at H&M like in 2008 or 2007, whenever it came here, it was maybe like $20. And it's still, I think now it's still $20. It might, or it might be like $24.99 or $29.99. And just like everything about it looks different.
Yeah.
It's like they're just trying to, stay at a certain price point, but they also can't. I mean, they're just like huge companies, right? And they're just growing massively, and they're just opening more and more stores, and they're just making more clothes. Like, I think when H&M first came, it was like the Dividend. Is that what it's called? The junior department, and then
I have no idea.
Now they have, they have everything. They just make so many different areas of the store that cater like to a different customer, but they've completely obliterated other like there's no more Forever 21. There's like no more Nasty Gal. There's so many of those competitors that are just gone, and I think they're just doing everything they can to stay around. Yeah. And just making, and now they're competing with things like Shein and Temu, and
that's crazy.
And and Amazon, so it's like they just have to like if they raise their prices, they're really just gonna go away. So they have to like make a cheaper feeling looking product at the same price. Yeah. And like today I ordered this on eBay. It was like a vintage Bart Simpson tank top for my son. And it said that it was dead stock. And I got it in the mail today, and it still had the Target tag from like the 1990s.
And we're going to frame this actually instead.
And it was $9.99 in 1992. And you go to Target now, and a Cat and Jack t-shirt is like $4.
Whoa.
So isn't that crazy that like something at Target in 1992 cost $9.99, and now they're selling like a Cherry Coke like licensed T-shirt for the same price or less.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
So how could that? The quality for sure has to have gone way down to keep that price. You know? So it has. Like, that T-shirt probably can survive 35, 40 years.
Yeah.
And a Target T-shirt, I mean, you wash it like 4 times and it's like dusted. Like, you'll never wear that again. You know?
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed that across the board in fashion, like outside of fast fashion, maybe, you know, mid to high?
Mid to high for sure. I think they cut corners with, you know, linings are always so awful in like really expensive coats. Like, they just get worse and worse every
what
year.
What makes a bad lining?
I mean, just when a lining is too small, you know, it's like, that's terrible. It's like they're just trying to save money on the marker, and when they're trying to make as much out of a marker. So I think they just things like that. Zippers, terrible zippers. Zippers on like $1,000 freaking bomber jackets, and that didn't used to happen. You know, like, I love Acne. I'm consistently buying Acne bombers like every couple of years, and I think I've had to replace the zipper in like a bomber that I bought last winter, like twice in a year. Where I have one from like 2014 that I've never had to like change, and just things like that, like those little details that they think people aren't going to notice. I've definitely seen it like that just go down the drain for sure.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is the brand making a decision, or the zipper brand or the zipper company. The suppliers making the zippers. I mean,
these companies are charging so much. I mean, a lot of times this stuff isn't made in better conditions than, you know, a fast fashion product. I mean, yeah. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's like the product or, you know, quality control is not any different than it is, like,
using the same factories or whatever.
I mean, a lot of times people say like, oh, we use the same factories, you know? And there's just a lot of markets that get overlooked that make amazing things. I mean, overlooked to a certain extent, like cotton, right? Like Peru has amazing cotton factories, and a lot of like premium basics companies are going south, and I think like that quality is better. You know, that fabric stays for years. And, you know, even like Portugal, a lot of people are moving production to Portugal. There's a lot of basics companies making things in Portugal. And I think exploring new markets is something for, you know, outsourcing production, I think is probably, you know, a good thing for quality control. Because a lot of these other places are the same places where H&M is making stuff. Right? So it's like, why is Acne, or I'm not saying Acne is making anything there, but why is so-and-so a $700 jacket? Why does it feel just like a Zara jacket? Well, where are they making it, you know?
I get frustrated when I see a lot of designer brands and where they're getting their stuff made is at a similar price point as my stuff. And, you know, my stuff is made here. So, and there's definitely more than enough margins here. So,
for sure. But then, I mean, that's also, it's hard. Like, I don't know. Having a brand is so hard. I can only imagine like competing with, it's not. It's not easy.
It's definitely not easy. So many things to juggle with a brand. But would you say that there's a category that's like a category of clothing that's noticeably improving at all?
I mean, Activewear
getting
for
worse.
activewear for sure, I think has improved within the last, 10, 15 years. I think there's a lot of brands that started paying attention to different body types. And that always helps with like fit. I think swimwear has gotten absolutely terrible with fit. Like it is so hard to find swim. And I know I'm a 43-year-old mom, so I'm not wearing a thong bikini. But like even trying to find like a one piece that like is low and sexy and like has enough cheeks in the back, but not like full like I don't want a full grandma butt, but I also don't want a thong up my ass. Like when I'm like swimming in Miami Beach with my 6-year-old, like
it's reasonable.
Yeah. And it's like, there used to be brands that existed and I don't know where these brands are anymore, but that's also a retail problem. Like where is anybody buying clothes anymore? And the buys, like it's not necessarily just, and the buyers aren't. I don't
they're
know.
kind of playing it safe is what I've noticed.
Playing it like, it's like they're just worried about like the influencer generation and like, there's just so many missed markets that I wish I could have an honest conversation with these people. I'm like, hello,
Yeah. I mean, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Not only, shopping is always a problem. Like I can't, I've given up on looking for things to purchase because it's always a disappointment.
Yeah.
And same like with my mom, it's so hard to find her clothes that are age appropriate and stylish.
Yeah.
Everyone has these problems and it's not getting any better. And then as a brand trying to sell to retailers, I look at the stuff that they're buying and I'm like, do people really buy that?
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is so bad or it's so similar to what has been on the market for so many years. Like I don't think the malls or a lot of these retailers have really changed the buys since I was like in high school.
Yeah.
Like it all looks the same as what I used to see back then. I don't understand it.
Another thing I noticed that like improved, I think like there's been so much research about like gynecological situations with linings in underwear. And there are so many cool brands now that are made with like different fabrics, that are treated with certain minerals and things. And I love that.
Yeah.
I find that so fascinating. Yeah. I recently met with somebody who worked at a fabric company. She like wanted to have lunch with me and she like picked my brain about like remember period safe or period proof underwear, right? And just asking, I was like, didn't that company get sued? Whatever. Anyways,
what?
That company got sued because there was like a chemical in it that was giving people cancer or something.
Oh my goodness.
Don't quote me on it, but
everything is going to give everybody cancer.
Yeah, but I was having lunch with her and then we just started talking about all these brands. There's a brand that I love and I swear by. It's called Hoo-Ha. They were on Shark Tank.
Across it.
Yeah, they were on Shark Tank. I love their fit. I love their quality. But I especially love that, going back to clients and things that are first stage, that's all stuff that's like important to a woman's body because you're sweating a lot and you have to like stay safe.
Yeah.
And so, so I think that category of clothing has improved and is continuing to improve like every day. Like there's so many brands and so many designers that are now like aware of like, the width of a crotch and because, but going back to bathing suits, it's like, why is everything like this small, and it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's definitely declined. Underwear is up there. I think like companies like Victoria's Secret, have like also grown so much in like the variety of bras and, just bras too. Like there's so many comfortable bras now,
Yeah.
I'd like to see shapewear improve and I'd like to see new modern approach to shapewear. I'm not a Skims girl.
Yeah.
I don't think Skims really does what it does, except for it's like a light layer. And
what about Spanx, the OG?
Well, Spanx is great. I love Spanx, but I mean, I don't wear shapewear, but a lot of my clients rely on shapewear for certain things. And I have so many ideas for shapewear. And I saw this meme the other day that was like, there isn't a business idea I haven't thought of. I've even thought of like starting in my own country. And I was like, oh my God, that totally resonated with me because I've thought of like so many cool like wardrobe solution companies. And I think people stopped like investing in them because they're so afraid of companies like Skims that have like, you know, taken over that side of the market.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there are so many things that like Skims isn't doing and I don't think they will do that like I want to give so many people like ideas to do it.
Yeah, and well, I brought up Spanx because they have recently come out with a denim line that has like shapewear kind of built into it or shaping, and I thought that was interesting because I've had intentions of doing that with my own stuff.
They should do swimwear. Have they done swimwear? They should do swimwear.
I don't know. I honestly don't wear shapewear.
I don't wear shapewear either. Yeah.
I don't pay that close attention, but it's in. Oh, where I wanted to go with that is just because you were also talking about like activewear and underwear. There was kind of a common theme of performance materials making these categories better, or designing for performance is what is making categories improve in your opinion. And that was a company that I noticed was starting to incorporate this kind of like new technology into everyday wear. So like jeans and maybe they'll end up making more clothes like that and kind of move away from shapewear being a separate item instead of it just built into all your clothes.
I love that. Yeah.
So that was a perfect segue into now talking a little bit about denim. I get a lot of pushback on calling my knit denim. So what is the definition of denim?
I mean, I always think of you as denim.
Thank you.
To me, it's the way, I mean, right? Like the wash, I don't know, right? Like, I don't know what qualifies as denim because sometimes it's like, I want to wear like leather jeans. Yeah. Right? Like they're leather. They're not cotton twill. Yeah. So it's what makes them jeans, right? It's like the construction, the design. Yeah. You know? So it's like when I want to wear leather jeans, I wear leather jeans. When I want to wear leather pant, I wear a leather pant. Yeah. So it's definitely a design thing that makes jeans to a certain extent, right? Yeah. Because then you make your bell bottoms, like the flares that I love, and I still consider those bell bottom jeans. Yeah. Because they look like what's denim. So it's like, I think that's how in my mind, what qualifies. Yeah.
The look of the fabric.
The look of the fabric, either the look of the fit. Yeah. Or the look of the fabric. Like it's got to have one thing that like reminds me of traditional classic pair of jeans. Yeah.
Okay. I love that answer.
Yeah.
Because the denim community or denim industry is very rigid about defining it exactly as it's always been defined, and because mine is knitted, that automatically like makes it not denim in their eyes. But my point is that everybody outside of the denim industry, they don't define denim like that. Yeah. And so I want to hear how people actually define it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
But I have a question. What, like, in what capacity do you want acceptance? Like, or why would you want it? Like, what for? To be considered for something, or like, why is it that you?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
And it comes down to selling my stuff.
Because
to
why? Because you
retailers.
have to work with a buyer that buys denim.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the retailers, most of them don't know what to do with me. They don't know if they should categorize me as denim or as knitwear, or just like as a
ready
trendy.
to wear. Yeah, like.
But my what I think. My brand, I think, would perform better if it's categorized as denim because, you know, if someone is searching for denim and they come across my designs, either they're looking for comfort, something comfortable, and they'll be like, oh, great option, or the aesthetic of it, they'll be like, oh, wait, what's that? And they'll do a double take. But if they're searching for clothing in knitwear or like trendy section or whatever, they'll scroll through my stuff. Maybe it'll catch their eye. Maybe they'll be, oh, the price point, I don't understand. Or they're like, blue knitwear and move on, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm exploring denim more deeply because it has gotten in my way.
Yeah. So cool. So interesting.
Do you think denim is easier or harder to style than most people realize?
I definitely think that when it comes to baggy denim, that's kind of easier. Like, because you're not dealing with so many fit issues. I think when it comes to like fitted denim, that's definitely it's a hard thing to tailor right.
Yeah.
You know, and unless you're like a size 0 and you have like the, you know, perfect body, but I don't style girls that are, you know, traditional body types.
Yeah.
Stereotypical, perfect, you know, bodies I don't tend to work with, which I love because I love figuring out a perfect fit, and I love making women feel beautiful at any size, in any type of body, you know? So, but I do think that it's more challenging, you know, to find a perfect fit of jeans when something is fitted.
Yeah, I noticed you just put Kehlani in some jeans and she was doing all sorts of dance moves in them, and I was quite impressed with that.
Those were Autolinger jeans, and we dyed those custom to be like the color. And then also Uchis just wore a customized denim pair of pants on stage, and then we also did a denim and leather like Western pant on stage, and that was like the first time I think any of my girls that I've ever worked with have like requested to wear like fitted denim on stage.
Whoa. Did you have to do special alterations to make those move or fit?
Well, the leather ones were challenging for sure, because that was a challenge to make them look as good as they looked, because I was working with two fabrics that were completely different. Like it was like stretch denim and like a hard, thick leather. And so that was challenging. But the stretch pair of pants that Callie wore, they weren't that challenging. There was an issue, I think, with like at the bottom of like under the butt cheek. It wasn't like there was a part that wasn't stretching somehow, but then my tailor, Tatiana, was like, oh, you have to massage the fabric. Like sometimes it happens with like a snag. I don't remember.
Oh,
but she taught me like this little trick.
Massaging
the denim. Yeah. And it worked.
Oh, okay.
And then, I mean, we just had the typical like, you know, waist dart situation. And that happens a lot with girls that have bigger butts and bigger hips, you know.
And back to the massaging, how does one massage denim?
It's just like a circular, it was steam at first, and then like just in like a circular motion, and you'll see like the threads kind of like flatten out.
Okay.
You know, because I think instinctually, like we want to just, we see like a loose little like loop, and then you just want to cut it, but you're just
then the whole thing might rip.
the whole thing might rip. Yeah. So it's just like steaming it, like let it soften, and you just like literally like you just go into circular motion, dab, steam, and you just have to like be patient with it, and then everything just like flattens out. And
we
goes
need a
back.
video of this for social media.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna do one. You gave me ideas for sure.
Yeah, that would be a fun one. I never heard of that. So that's pretty cool. And why do you think out of nowhere your clients for the first time requested fitted jeans?
I think it's like a different, a different time of the year, right? Like she's doing festivals and it's summer, and you just like, we just did two or three legs of her previous tour. I think this is the third. I already forget, but where everything was like really dressed up and her hair was up, and I think she just wanted something where she was just like more casual, more relatable. I think that denim is something that's universal, right? It's something that like everybody can wear and like everybody can buy. So I think like maybe it was like a way for her to take it down a notch, but still be fabulous.
Yeah.
But like in like what can she take down, and like how can she take it down a notch but still be her? And like I think like for her it was like denim, incorporating denim into the show was like a really good way to like connect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's something very comforting about denim, even when it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. Yeah.
That did not just come out of my mouth. No. So, well then, how do you think denim ranks as a performance garment, even like stretch denim or denim that is supposed to be for performance?
I mean, I think it's great. I like I said, stretch denim performs great. It washes great. It goes back. And then
I meant more for like the stage or whatever.
For
like
stage, right? Yeah. I think it's great. That's why. I mean, a lot of times where you have a stage where they have to wear it multiple times.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Like so it has to be able to wash well and dry well and go back to the way it fit, the first time. Because after 90 minutes of like moving, it grows. But even like dancers, like right now, Kelly's dancers, Levi's gave us really cool jeans and we embellished them, and they're dancing in them great. We had to add gussets. Gussets are like a really big thing on stage, like with dancers, and you can't really tell that they're there. They're just, it's like the same color.
Is that so they, like, you don't see it?
It's so that it's so that they can move.
Oh, okay.
Because like
I see.
It's the when they're like doing a dance move, and then it just gives them
a little more space.
Ease. Yeah,
okay, I see.
Yeah.
And you said same fabric or it's a different fabric?
A lot of times it's people input like stretch fabric in the same color so that it can like so. When it's denim, it's typically like a stretch fabric.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But then if it's like stretch fabric, it's like the same.
Yeah. I've never seen
like or add gusset. Like I mean, people add gussets to lots of things to like fix inseams and but for denim, like most of the time dancers have like a gusset.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen it on
it's the
a
same
dance
color. Like if it's done,
like, they're doing it right.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Also, you're not looking at that stuff.
Yeah.
You're like just watching somebody dance and you're just like mesmerized. And it's such a fast movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more thinking like, how are they dancing in that what looks like non-stretch denim? Like the shorts always look a bit restrictive, but I guess they got the gussets.
Yeah, I mean shorts, you don't really need them as much because the part, like if it's a short, like your leg is out.
Yeah.
but it's like so uncomfortable. And that's I think tight denim with no stretch is, I can imagine being like uncomfortable to like dance on stage in for, you know, more than a 30-minute set where your like body is moving. Like I can imagine.
And sweating and rubbing.
Yeah.
Has denim gotten more comfortable over the years? Like, especially in comparison to back when you were working at those couple denim brands?
I don't know. I think there's been so much technology with like treatment that I think like, you know, you can buy a pair of jeans. Like I just got gifted this pair of jeans from Vintage Heavy, and they are like my new favorite jeans because they look like they're vintage, and they feel like they're vintage. Wow. Where like maybe like 20 years ago, like anytime somebody would wash denim to look vintage, it would look so like perfect. And it didn't look authentically old, and it didn't feel like worn in. Yeah. And I think like now there's, you know, companies like that are getting it right. Like even Mother Denim has like really great washes, or Redone has done a great job at like making stretch denim look non-stretch. Yeah. And it feel really comfortable. So I definitely think it's gotten way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's interesting that it's the wash that is creating the comfort.
Yeah, it's like as opposed to like the content, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
there's a lot of truth to that. Even with my fabric, it is pretty stiff before it gets washed. And it is amazing how much softer it gets after.
And also another thing that's improved, because I remember, you know, 20 years ago, like washing jeans, dark jeans, like with a white thing that accidentally like went in there, and it would just become blue. And I think like that happens less and less. So I think like so much is going into like the development when it comes to dyeing denim, that like that's happening less and less.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I love that.
Okay. And so then today, what would your perfect pair of jeans look like?
Besides KNORTS.
Yes, of course.
My go-to, and I think like a staple, and so my dad actually, before he came to America, he used to sell, he's from Argentina, and he used to sell American-made Levi's in Argentina.
That's cool.
And it was like his thing, and he had a really cool little store called Taxi Cab. And
it's so cute.
And he specifically sold denim, vintage, and like I said, American made. And he always wore 501 jeans, and I think I totally, you know, got that from him, because that's like my favorite.
Yeah,
jeans. I have like hundreds.
Wow.
I'm not exaggerating. I have hundreds of Levi's jeans. Yeah,
I'm gonna want a picture of that.
Yeah, I will show you.
How did he source all of the American jeans? Like, did he come in?
I don't remember how he did it, but there was a guy, his friend, who would come to California and like buy them for him, and then bring them to Argentina. In fact, that friend met his wife in Huntington Beach. And
on a trip
and brought her to Argentina, and then she became like a model, and like this was like
this. Dad's a matchmaker also.
Like, my dad's like this. Yeah, he's just like a 70s, like he was just this cool guy in Buenos Aires, and then he came to America and he met my mom, and then he never went back. But yeah, I love vintage. I sold vintage for years too, and I love jeans. I love Levi's as a brand. I love that it's like this American, you know, it's a heritage brand. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, people seem to really like the heritage aspect of denim. It's been a common theme I've been coming across. But did your dad move here because of the denim industry? Like,
he
it's kind
actually,
of a denim hub.
He moved here because things in Argentina at the time got really complicated. Especially for like alternative types. You know, my dad used to have long hair, and my dad was like on this like a Soul Train type of show there. He was like a dancer on this show, and all of his friends were, and they were just like, you know, they were just like cooler, like I said, alternative. And at the time, Argentina was in this like military dictatorship, and it was really hard to be different. And you go on the street, you had an ear piercing, and you'd get arrested, and the next thing you know, you were getting, you know, murdered, and there's a whole thing that happened in the late 70s, early 80s. So my dad left Argentina, and he came here, was planning to move to Spain, but met my mom on his you know, couple weeks that he was here, and then he just stayed in LA, and he's been here for 45 years now. Yeah.
Did he continue working in that world, like denim?
No, my dad like had many odd jobs probably in the beginning of, you know, the time that he was here. One, he worked in a jewelry factory, but he always worked in like the food, fine dining industry mostly. He actually managed Giorgio Baldi, which is like this restaurant that like is all the celebrities like take, you know, it's like Rihanna's favorite restaurant. My dad was like the guy at Giorgio Baldi in the 90s. And like Giorgio Baldi was like, you know, I have a swatch that he gave me for like my 5th grade graduation. And just like he was such a part of my childhood. And it's just funny because now it's like this paparazzi hotspot. And it was just like this thing. But anyways,
part of
like
LA
history. But yeah, no, my dad didn't do anything in fashion.
That's interesting, because LA is a denim hub, and so I've met a lot of people that were part of like the like 90s denim craze. And I'm surprised he didn't.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He like went a completely different, you know, cash money route. Because like in the 80s and 90s, like when you worked in restaurants, you know, he was making like, you know, fast cash. And I think that was like his immigrant way. In America was, but yeah, he didn't. I didn't. Anything I've done in the fashion industry was like me completely opening those doors for myself.
Same here.
Very
cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And don't forget, you guys, we've got the Cool Down up next with OK Coleman. And stick around because it's going to be a fun one.
Bye.
Yo, Cole, I'm trying to hate you, bro. Get down to the lobby. We in the lobby waiting on you, dude. We finna bounce out. I'm not gonna lie, look, it's a little bad shit in here, though. I ain't gonna lie. You take your sweet time. I know you on your spirituality, little lint rolling shit you got going on. But come on, like, you gotta wrap all that up, man. Man, we in the lobby waiting on you, bro. Come on.
Mattress, crisscross, two cross to remember that I was playing everything when me miss a dash. I was speeding, couldn't tell where I should go. 2 ears irrational to remember ration. Everything changed, we forget the passion.
I fade, you fade, then you move away from me with my baggage.
Remember all the time it took for me to open up. I'ma spill all the tea, baby, don't run. Please open up to me what you feeling. Please open up to me before you leave me.
Do you really think all this shit was easy? 2022, can't forget the feeling. 2023, when I started healing.
I had to make some sacrifices, believe me. I had to get a plan C and a plan B. I deserve applause, now you niggas see me.
Shout out Bigelsgym, man. It's okay, Coleman. That was Let Me Go.